In this video, I'm going to go through the basics of hand-over-hand steering. Okay, so first of all, I've got two hats marked out, 15 paces apart. I'm in a quiet area. I'm going to be driving an automatic car in low speed. And when I do the hand-over-hand steering, a couple of key principles that I would be focusing on. First of all, you need to make sure that your seat is correctly set up in the standard position. If your drive is too far back with the seat position, e.g. straight arms, it makes hand-over-hand steering really difficult to control the wheel. So you need to make sure that the seat and the steering wheel are correctly positioned. That way, not only are you getting maximum vision, but it means you can control the steering wheel with bent arms. It should be about that angle that you're steering on. Okay, when I go around to the right, what I'm going to do is, first of all, my eyes will go right. I'll start to turn the wheel. Once my right hand gets to my knee, I will keep turning the wheel, bring the right hand up to the top of the wheel, keep turning the wheel. As my left hand reaches my knee, release, go to the top. Right hand reaches the knee, release, go to the top. Left hand reaches the knee, release, go to the top. And back the other way, if we're turning the wheel, turn the wheel. When the left hand reaches the knee approximately, keep turning the wheel, release the hand, bring it to the top of the steering wheel, and so forth. Right hand to the knee, release, and to the top. So basically I'm using those two reference points, the right knee on the right turn, the left knee on the left turn. I've tried to use things like the clock faces and the numbers on a clock. It can get pretty confusing. So I try to keep those instructions as simple as possible. So I'm just going to put the vehicle into drive, do a 6-point check to make sure it's all clear around the vehicle, release the handbrake, gently move forward, and I'm turning to the right. So first of all, start turning the wheel, keep turning it so it's nice and smooth, and we're going out to the right, now to the left, the changeover point being at my left knee. I'm scanning around the road environment. I'm just taking it nice and slow. In the auto, it would be equivalent to first gear in a manual. Scanning, okay, to my knee and release, to my knee and release, to my knee and release, to my knee and release. The key is to keep that wheel moving nice and smoothly and flowing as it goes. I'm on full lock there, or just off full lock on the steering. Okay, we're gonna go back to the left. Left hand to the left knee, release. Right hand to the right knee, release. Looking where we're going, arcing it around. Nice and steady. Now the question is, when I come back around, can I ease off the steering and let it slide between my hands? Now my hands are in position, so in case of an emergency, I could grab the wheel. We definitely don't want to take our hands off the wheel when the vehicle's moving. That's dangerous, and in a Q-Safe driving test, that's a critical driving error. So I'm going to go to the right, so go to the right knee, release, bring the hand over. Now as I come around, I'm going to let the wheel slide to correct. That's okay. Okay, look left, go to the left knee, around we go. So this is the hand-over-hand technique. I would use this technique in places like car parks, shopping centers, where I need to be making really quite rapid movements on the steering wheel. It doesn't mean that I can't use pull-push steering. That's fine. If you like doing that, go for it. But both methods are acceptable on the Q-Safe driving test. The other thing too is, you see this sort of steering where people grab the wheel underneath, that is not allowed. On a Q-Safe test, that's a non-critical driving error, okay, for operation, so no undergrabbing. Also, this is another one people do, where I'll just come around so I can do a demo. This one, which is palming the wheel, that's also a non-critical driving error on a driving assessment as well. If you're driving a manual, some people rest their left hand on the stick and steer one-handed and just roll it around like that. That's also unacceptable. So the main thing is that when we're steering, one is we've got to be in control of the vehicle. Make sure that you do not remove two hands from the wheel while the vehicle is moving. And secondly, why a lot of people don't like the hand-over-hand technique is, just to do an example, is students sometimes get tangled up like this. Now, if your student's getting tangled up like that, we've got a problem. That's dangerous, and also I've got nowhere to go. I can't move it around any further. So that's why the hand needs to be released and brought up to the top. So these steering techniques are fundamental. Rushing out to go out into the traffic on the road when the steering hasn't been addressed is what one would call a risky strategy to have. So if we roll that back, one of the critical things to remember is find a safe training area in your region, or a number of those that you can take students to if they need to come back to those level 1 skills. Secondly, the instructor can sit on the left and control the pedals. That way the speed is being controlled and the student can focus on their observation and their steering. I never teach steering in isolation. I'm always teaching observation and scanning and looking as they go. Get that head moving. Human beings can only see out of what is our central vision, our peripheral vision. So if we want to see what's coming to the sides, we need to turn our head as well. Hand-over-hand steering technique. Q-safe performance outcomes. Steering control. The applicant should steer a safe and steady course and maintain the correct course in a manner that is appropriate for the road and traffic conditions. Steering operation. The applicant should operate the steering device in an appropriate manner, that is, hand over hand or the pull-push steering method. After the turn, it is permissible for the steering wheel to slip back through the hands, providing the applicant maintains control of the steering. Non-critical driving errors, steering control. Does not steer a steady course, for example, wanders off course, jerky operation, unaware of incorrect position of the front wheels when moving off. Rolls up an angle curb without mounting it. Non-critical driving errors, steering operation. Operates the steering wheel incorrectly, that is, places hands inside the rim of the steering wheel, steers with one hand only, except for when reversing and when operating vehicle controls. Steers using the palm of one hand. Holds the steering wheel with arms crossed or in a manner that restricts movement of the wheel. For example, one arm resting on door. Specific repeated driving errors, steering operation. Repeated steering control errors, that is, 6 errors. Critical driving errors, steering control. Loses control of the steering. Critical driving errors, steering operation. Removes both hands from the steering wheel while the vehicle is in motion. This critical driving error should not be marked in cases where the applicant removes both hands from the steering wheel for a fraction of a second without compromising safety. For example, at very low speed during a maneuver. Some trainers discourage the hand-over-hand steering technique for the reason that if a crash occurs and the airbag is deployed, it rapidly inflates within the blink of an eye at the same time as the occupant's head and upper body are thrown forward. If, at that time, the driver's arms are crossed, they will hit the driver in the face and possibly cause an injury that otherwise may not have occurred had the driver been using the pull-push steering technique, whereby the left hand is on the left side of the steering wheel and the right hand on the right side of the steering wheel.